excuse me, on the injury front, Donnie Avery has a shoulder contusion. We'll just see how he does here in the next couple of days. Eric Fisher's still recovering from the concussion, being tested, going through all the protocol. Justin Houston, he took a shot to the neck and head and everything else there, but he seems to be okay, so I just mentioned him here. Travis Kelsey is still working with the bone bruise part here, and then Fasano with the ankle injury is making progress, but if we had to practice it, we had to practice. All in all, a good win yesterday with a lot of things that we can improve on in all areas. However, the other three takeaways I think were important. The muff being one of those, and then being able to come out with points on those, I thought were important. I think we had 13 points on the takeaways. We had 2 turnovers offensively that we've got to do a better job there. We've turned it over a little too much here. I was worried. I could see why the ball got away from Jamal there after you see the way his body got contorted there, and he came out healthy on that. So that's a plus. I thought Jamal had we're speaking to him, I thought he had a pretty good game. He had 145 total yards, which he can do so many things for you, and he does so many things well. I thought Ryan had a good day kicking. He had 14 points, 4 field goals, and 2 extra points there. And then defensively, I thought our guys came out and just kind of established an attitude early, and even though they were able to kind of get into a little bit of a flow that second half, they were able to put an end to that and finish strong. But again, I think when your defense plays that well, and I guess it would be highlighted, you'd say, by the goal line stand. I mean, you come out with that kind of an attitude, and that's infectious to everybody. And you saw it led to a long drive after that. I thought it actually helped get the offense going a little bit there. The interception at the end, we were able to score, and then the interception by Demps doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. You see Flowers and the work that he did there to cause the ball to be tipped, and Demps to work on that. And then Flowers has been working through an injury. Both he and Lewis, I think, have just showed real grit, working through their injuries and fighting to get back on the field, and then just coming out and playing good, hard-nosed, tough football. Things we've got to work on. We've got to work on a few things offensively. Red zone, we were only 1 of 4 there, and we've got to do a better job there. We stalled on a couple drives, and we're normally better than that, so we've got to take care of business down there when you're given an opportunity. Our third down efficiency was terrible. We were 1 for 12, and you can't make a living doing that, right? So you got to make sure that you're more efficient on third down. You got to shorten the third downs down a little bit yardage-wise too. You start hitting some of these third and a gazillion that you don't have a lot of calls for those particular spots. So you got to keep your third downs manageable, and I think we did a very good job of that yesterday, and that's my responsibility to make sure that we're in those positions there. So, time's yours.
You mentioned Flowers. You put him in the slot a lot. You had Cooper. Can you just kind of talk about why him in the slot? And what the matchup, was it a matchup thing?
Well,
Injury thing?
Well, you saw early how we did that in training camp, where we had the flexibility to use him. He's really a good inside player. He's good outside too, but he's a good inside player. And then Coop's been playing well, so it gives you the confidence to be able to do that. But Brandon's flexibility is the key there. I mean, he can do so many things for you, and he's so willing. I mean, very, very seldom do you see guys of his stature that tough and that willing to get inside there amongst those big bodies. But he can play now.
But why this game in particular? Was it matchups, or was it because you're taking a little load off his knee? Or?
No, it wasn't a load off the knee part. No, yeah, it was what Bob wanted. As far as scheme went, not necessarily matchups as much as scheme.
Okay.
Maybe A.J. Jenkins got a lot of the work after Avery went out. Are you comfortable with Jenkins playing right now, or is he just the next man up and it's time to play?
Yeah, well, he was the next. Well, I guess both. I mean, he was the next guy up, and to be the next guy up, you had to be comfortable with him. So, yeah, a young guy, and he's continuing to learn what we're doing. So I thought he did a good job in there.
You mentioned Cooper. Did you know anything about him, or was that a John Dorsey special?
No, it's one of John's. Yeah.
What is he?
I remember him as a wide receiver at Rutgers. That's what I remember.
He stepped in and obviously played some big guys for you. But what is a lot for him to succeed?
Well, he's a smart kid, and he's got good coaching, and he wants to be good. I mean, that's he goes out there every day, and he doesn't let anything get in the way of him getting better each and every day. And he's willing to challenge. You also notice that he's a big kid. He's got good size, so he's not afraid of matchups or whatever. There. Yeah.
Coach, what's your understanding of when a quarterback is or is not out of bounds, when a runner is or is not out of bounds, and how that will? We saw earlier this year with Geno Smith, and this wasn't quite as late and as much of a game changer. The one that was called in your game before, the Jets.
Yeah, I think it's a bang call by the officials. I mean, they've got it's not always an easy job over there, but I think as long as the quarterback is working his way out of bounds, or I mean, you can split the hairs here. If his foot's in the air going out of bounds, I'd probably tell you he's out of bounds. That not many of them can put their foot out of bounds and then come back in. I haven't seen that happen very often. So I think it's one of those that you throw the call on and go with it.
Does the league, and I know you get refs out of camp and everything, and they tell the defenders, and they view the quarterback differently? Is he a different? They're going to be quicker on the whistle when the running back is not?
Well, I would tell you that. Listen, I'm stating the obvious here. There are rules put in to protect the quarterback. I mean, that's some of the rules. Now, the run game has become a little more prevalent at the quarterback position over this year, really, and probably into last year a little bit. So it doesn't make it quite as cut and dry once they break outside the tackle box and become a runner. Once they become a runner, they're a runner. And so
That's not the point, but it seems like when you had some slide situations out in the middle of the field, Smith's taking a couple of shots, and he's down, they seem to maybe not be quite as protective in the middle, but on the sideline they're touchy about the quarterback.
Well, yeah, no, well, it depends on where, if you're going out of bounds, I mean, you see it. It's not, again, I'm stating the obvious. If you're going out of bounds, it wouldn't have mattered if it's a running back or a tight end or a wide receiver. If you're going out of bounds and somebody comes full speed, they're going to probably call that call. And yeah, Alex has taken some chances. To answer the other part of the question, I mean, he's done two flips in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, and I don't necessarily like seeing that, but he's a competitive guy and he's trying to get the first down, and so I got it. But I thought the one in the game, I obviously think the officials made a good call.
Coach, after that impressive goal line stand, can you just walk us through the mindset of going deep at Avery? What was the thought process there?
Well, we liked the match. I mean, we had that play on our script that we thought we'd have an opportunity take a shot there, and we did. I thought Donnie did a nice job of hanging on the football box, put it up there, and let him go get it. And I thought it was, that's what we saw without.
You mentioned that it was contagious, that the guys fed off that.
Yeah, well, listen, when you see you can't help but get excited. Your defense makes a goal line stand like that. I think everybody gets fired up and ready to go. I think we got a field goal out of that one. Again, we need to score a touchdown, but we got a field goal. But it was a good extended drive. That's one of the areas we're doing pretty good at is the time of possession. But when you have time of possession, you don't want to come out with field goals. Although Ryan did a nice job, but that's not really what you want. You want to get touchdowns there, especially on longer drives like that.
What about Chad Hall? He got a lot of work, particularly early in the game. What do you see from him?
Well, we had a little package in there for him, and he did some good things. He did some good things. And then we blended him kind of throughout the game, different times. So. But he gives you some quickness. But both he and Dex they're a little bit undersized. They're smaller guys, but they've got great quickness, and so we tried to utilize both of them at the same time.
Coach, Alex in key situations yesterday was thrown to Sherman and Brock and different guys that are a little bit lower on the depth chart. What does he do in practice on a daily basis to make sure that those guys are confident and understand the ball's coming out at any time?
Yeah, well, there's no period really during the day. So if the defense is up, he's out working with those guys, whether it's individually or as a group, and make sure you're trying to gain time there. I mentioned yesterday, which I think is important as you guys look at things, is you play teams that are going to play a lot of man coverage, like almost every snap man coverage. There are going to be some good ones. There are going to be some ones that don't look so good. That happens. The important thing is that you keep firing and you fire with confidence, and then trust your guys. And he did all of those things, which is huge. And McGrath comes on board, and he's feeding McGrath in tight, crucial situations. He's shooting this guy, and Brock, he gives him opportunities, and Chad, who he did work with a little bit at San Francisco, but he's throwing to him. So these are guys that haven't been with us too long.
And I know you haven't gotten too far into the Raiders yet, but this is your indoctrination into the Chiefs-Raiders rivalry.
Well, I was going to finish this with that. It is Raider week, and I'm all about rivalries. I mean, I got it. And so it's exciting. I know our fans are going to be completely crazy. I know that. I got it. And our players will be fired up for it. These are special in the National Football League. Yeah, these type of rivalries, man, it's get your juices flowing and gets them flowing early. So the black and silver, if anybody's wearing it, be careful. Just be careful.
That being said, how do you handle it differently with the team, or do you handle it differently?
As far as the preparation, yeah. Well, they know, they're aware of it. They understand that. So I'm not into all that kind of stuff. But when you're playing a rival, and it's an AFC West team. So that's very important too, and not that they all aren't, but those become very important games, and so the fellas, they realize that.
Did you stay up late last night watching them?
I did take a peek at them. Yeah.
You mentioned the one for 4 in the red zone and the one for 12, the third down. Yeah, obviously you want to correct it. Is it a blocking issue, or what are some of the issues that have bothered it?
There are a variety of things, but collectively we've got to do better, right? So everybody's got a little piece. Each one was different. The bottom line is, I mentioned this after the game, I've got to do a better job making sure I get these guys in the right position and call them the right plays for them. And once I get that done, in those situations, we'll be all right.
Last two.
Andy, you talked about the conditioning, the pass, play going, finishing, giving credit to those guys. Mindset, too, built up with the guys were a belief that tie game, whatever, down 3, whatever, 4th, we got this, we're going to pull this through because the evidence is there.
Well, I'll tell you this, the eyes that I'm looking at, and I mentioned this about Alex, and as a group, they're all in, and they're very positive and upbeat throughout the game, and they're working to do their best, and so you appreciate that. There's a certain confidence there and want to that you appreciate as a coach.
Last two.
On Bo, he's always been the focal point of defenses, but he's been very statistically productive with a lot of different offenses, and frankly with a lot of quarterbacks not as talented as Alex. Why do you think he hasn't gotten it going yet?
Well, he's gotten it going at the right time. So, and that's really the play calls coming in. So teams put a lot of emphasis, I mean, you just said it yourself, teams put a lot of emphasis on him early and with coverage. And then we kind of work our way through and make sure we see what they're doing. And then all of a sudden we get them going with the calls. And then he does a phenomenal job with it. So but you saw a couple of those towards the end of the game. You saw people settling underneath him to give up the flat and so on, and that's how they honor him. And then you just keep dialing him up as often as you can, so you get him the football, because normally good things happen when the ball's in his hand.
Last one.
Coach, Anthony Fasano tweeted last night after the win, so happy yet so frustrated. How much has his absence impacted what you want to do on third down inside the red zone?
Listen, the other guys have done a nice job, so it's not hindering what we're doing there. So, I think his frustration's over just not being healthy. I mean, if he's tweeting that, than not being able to have an opportunity to play. He loves to play the game.
All right, thank you.